I read about this gentleman, and one of the many, many things I read every day. And I read his story, and I wanted to meet him. Because today it's very difficult to be honest. Now, I know a lot of you think that you're watching honesty on the reality shows, but hey, that ain't nothing but entertainment. Folks, ain't's in the dictionary. That ain't nothing but entertainment. But this story wasn't entertainment. This story is real. And it's about what's going on in our world today. And the subject is being discussed because of what took place in New York last week when the state of New York made a decision to recognize same-sex marriage, and then Rhode Island followed. And there are going to be more states adopting this. And we are going to have to begin to speak out openly. What we all know is that many of us have relatives that are gay and lesbian in our family. We love them, we honor them, we respect them, we pray for them. Now, most of us don't understand the workings of our own bodies. We keep getting sexuality mixed up with sex, who we are versus what we like to do. And so tonight we're going to get a lesson. And I want you to open up your hearts. And I want you to listen, not with your prejudice, not with your judgment. Because be careful. The judgment that you mean out to someone else can be mean to you. Our guest tonight is going to help us learn. His name is Anson. And Anson calls himself an inspirational writer and a new thought coach. He'll tell you what that's all about. He was married. He had children. He had everything going for him, and he tried to do what he thought was the right thing. He's a Christian. He believes in Christ. But he is what he is. And tonight we'll talk about that. Please help me welcome him to the show. Hi, Aaron. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, Bev. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
I think it's about time that we have this conversation in public, don't you?
I totally 100% emphatically agree with you. It is certainly time to quit sweeping the subject up under the crimson red carpet of the church, and let's have complete, open, honest dialogue and discussion about it.
Well, I'm thinking that it's much like that oil spill that just happened in one of our parks, that it's seeping out anyway. That the more you try to repress it, the more it seeps out. And it is a subject that we all know about. Why do you think we keep trying to pretend that it isn't real?
I think so much of our belief has been rooted in the preponderance of assertions, by religion and a lot of religious zealots that have really kind of changed the discussion away from who we are. It's about becoming who we are not or who we should not be. And it's definitely just been an ongoing problem for centuries. And I do think it is starting to seep out. People are starting to realize that there is something deeper within ourselves, and there's a higher calling that we answer to. And so, yeah, I think we'll continue to see, more and more people come out and openly discuss, what they inherently feel inside as individuals.
In the black community, we are behind. We have not really addressed this issue like we should. And as a person who works in the AIDS and HIV arena with Phil Wilson and Shirley Ralph and others, I think that this is hampering us, stopping us from really stopping this disease from spreading, because we are forcing people to be what they're not. Is that what happened to you?
I totally agree. It is, this discussion begins around the dinner table, and even with, myself and being around families and friends that were acting out against, homosexuality or gay or lesbian and talking down against, people that relate to this. And what happens is around the dinner table, as a kid myself, you become very uncomfortable about sharing the feeling that you have inside or what you inherently feel as a person. So then you create this false life that allows you to stay close with your friends and close with your family and accepted by your family, because let's face it, everyone wants to be accepted. So yeah, as a result of that, then you get into what the down low and secret sexual relationships and the not using proper protection and so forth. And yes, so it just exacerbates the HIV situation even more so.
Well, as a straight woman, I want this subject to be discussed because I think I should not have to worry about whether my man is straight or not. I should know. And it is not fair to me as a straight woman to do that. So if a man likes men, I ought to know. Because I like
totally
men.
Agree with you. And what I've seen have happen, and I've talked with lots of people on this discussion, even in a heterosexual husband-wife relationship where the husband or the man is having secret, clandestine relationships on the side. And
it isn't fair to the women. It isn't fair to the women at all.
Let
me take this break.
Absolutely not. I think one of the things that
Hold that point. Aaron, do me a favor. Hold that point. The music is playing, and that always means we have to take a break. When we come back, I'm going right to it. When did you know that you were a gay man after this? His name is Aaron Anson. He's a child of God. I want to establish that right up front. He's a child of God. He believes in God. And it is that belief that was a part of his struggle. We're trying to understand. Because I wanted to have this conversation because we have turned into a hate-filled, evil, judgmental country. It's in the atmosphere. The evil is in the atmosphere. And we have people living secret lives. And some of those people march in marches against homosexuals, and then we learn that they're gay themselves. As a straight woman who likes straight men, I want to know that people have the freedom to be who they are, because straight women are getting HIV and AIDS, particularly black women, given to them by men who have to mask, pretend that they are something other than what they are. That's unfair. We should not judge. Only God can judge. So let's talk about it. Let's be open and honest. And Aaron has agreed to do that with me, and I'm so delighted that he's come tonight to talk. When did you discover that you were gay?
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much for having this conversation. And I mean, it just means so much that you're willing to talk about it and get it out there. And that just means so much to me that I'm, I am able to share this story and that we're able to talk about it. But for me, I think, I inherently knew I was gay probably at 8 to 10 years old. It's when I first was aware of my attraction, to the same sex.
Now, when you say at 8 and 10 years old, people are going, oh, that's too young. But it really isn't, because our sexuality, how we feel about ourselves, how we view ourselves, really starts in the womb. It comes out, and we begin to explore. Our sexual self begins to exhibit itself when we're at that age, beginning in puberty, when we begin to have those feelings, which are very natural for you, whether you are gay or straight. So you began to notice certain things about your behavior, or you began to notice that there were certain little boys that you liked better, because what psychologists say, and when you take your first year of psychology, and you would know this as a trainer, that the first thing we like is the same thing. Little girls get crushes on their female teachers. Little boys get crushes on their coaches. But that's just what it is. When did it go past that for you?
I think because I fought it so long, and I denied it, and more so because there was, the societal pressures, especially at that time, were totally working against what I felt as an individual. But as I continued to get older and, 12, 13, 14 years old, these feelings did not go away. Although I was putting so much effort into repressing the feelings at this point and trying to learn myself or teach myself to be attracted to the opposite sex.
Oh, I want to hold that. The music is playing. We have to go into that. Teach yourself, masking who you are. That after this.
Hall of Fame.
You're listening to the Bev Smith Show on American Urban Radio Networks.
All engines are started. We have ignition. 2, 1, 0. We have a liftoff.
Recognized nationally as one of the most important talk show hosts in America.
Minister Bev Smith. I'm telling you, you're doing a great ministry. The handwriting is on the wall.
Bev Smith brings the key players to you.
Hello, Dick
God
Gregory.
bless you, girlfriend.
Welcome, Mark Morial. Hi, Mark.
Hey, Bev.
I'm talking about Soledad O'Brien. Hi, Soledad.
Hey, nice to talk to you.
Bev calls it like she sees it.
You need to listen, because this is serious business.
It's radio for you and about you with your host, Bev Smith.
Good evening and welcome to the third hour of the Bev Smith Show. Now, I know a lot of you are calling, but what I want you to do is to listen first, because you're starting to call and you don't even know the story. So just wait a little bit before we take your call, because what we want to do is to give you a chance to hear from someone else and not your opinion of judgment. I'm talking about a man who's very brave, an African-American man, very brave, to step out and say, I am who I am. He's Aaron Anson. Aaron, you were talking about earlier in the last hour how you had to mask these feelings. How do you do that? I was a little girl. I could not hide the fact that I like curling hair and lipstick and all of that. How do you hide who you are?
Facilitator, what helped me to hide who I was, and I think it still happens so much today, was to hide behind my religion, or hide behind what I was being taught religiously. And I say that, and again, this is like my story, so it's not, what I've heard, but having to actually deal with preachers and other elders of the church who would make sexual innuendos toward myself, as a much younger man, but at the same time would be in the pulpit doing the exact same thing, masking who they really were. And these preachers oftentimes had wives, and many even had girlfriends on the side. But again, this is not what I've heard. This is what I know. This has been my experience.
Wait. Don't rush past this. This is too important. Because these people are stealing in the name of the Lord, stealing your consciousness, stealing your belief and your faith. So you're saying that there was some ministers, and this is your life you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Who would stand in the pulpit and talk against homosexuality, while at the same time making a hit on a young man they thought was gay.
Absolutely. Totally.
To find out more about the author, visit AaronAnson.com. Again, that's AaronAnson.com. Thanks for watching.
How does that make you feel? Because